Hello. So I am Lindsey Brickle from Polaris MEP, and we're going to be speaking to you today about new and new to you hiring and training resources. Got a great team presenting you today. So as I said, we have Shasterine de los Santos from the Real Jobs Rhode Island and DLT, Olivia Byron, also from Real Jobs Rhode Island DLT, and myself, Lindsey Brickle, who is the workforce manager for Polaris MEP. A little bit about Polaris MEP for those of you who are not familiar with what an MEP is. Polaris is a nonprofit consulting group dedicated to helping Rhode Island manufacturers stay competitive. We're part of the NIST National Network of Manufacturing Extension Partnerships, MEP, that's what that stands for. And this is a little bit about what we do. We will be making this available for those of you who would like access after. So if you miss any information during the slideshow, let us know if you'd like to have access to the slides. Today's agenda, Polaris and DLT have been working hand in glove with Rhode Island manufacturers. Our service offerings are driven by the employer needs. So that means we are always listening to what our employer partners are looking for. And then we're trying to make creative solutions to those problems. Today, we're going to look at some of the most popular programs that have been developed and funded recently in partnership with DLT. This includes programs for hiring, training, and resiliency. And then each time we give you an overview of the resources, we'll tell you how you can access it as well. Shasterine, you can take it away.
Hello, everyone. I am Shasterine de los Santos. I am a grant advisor for Real Jobs Rhode Island. And what Real Jobs Rhode Island is, it's the governor's signature workforce development programming. And it is not your stereotypical train and pray workforce model where we're training people for jobs that aren't there. We're actively putting industry and business at the center. So we're trying to anticipate the demand and not disrupt the free market, but accelerate it. So essentially it is the free market, only faster. Next slide, please. So Real Jobs Rhode Island pretty much contracts for several different types of workforce solutions. That may be a new hire training, an incumbent worker training, a sector investment, and it's done through our over 40 partnerships who are often industry associations or nonprofit organizations who then help work with employers to create these workforce solutions that meet the challenges that employers are facing. And through Real Jobs Rhode Island, we've served nearly 10,000 Rhode Islanders since its inception in 2015. So the process, the mechanics behind Real Jobs Rhode Island is we have this pitch process. So our over 40 partnerships, they submit different pitch proposals, which are essentially outlines a sort of workforce solution that meets a challenge that the industry is facing at the moment. And the director himself would either say yes or no to it. And then that proposal turns into a contract that then we contract directly to the partnership, which trickle downs to the employers. And we also are always, through our data and performance team, we are often statting this information, which essentially means we're using data to see how we're doing and see what changes we can make to improve. So through Real Jobs Rhode Island, we can provide several hiring solutions. I know currently with COVID-19, there's certain gaps at the moment with the stimulus checks, and also there's this age gap that we're seeing of many experienced workers retiring, and we need some new workers to fill that gap. Next slide, Lindsay. And we can do this through our new initiative, Back to Work Rhode Island, which the governor announced a couple months ago and aims to employ thousands of Rhode Islanders by the end of the year. It essentially is Real Jobs Rhode Island, except it with a focus of COVID-19 problems. So Real Jobs Rhode Island is the engine for Back to Work, and Back to Work aims to meet the challenges that resulted, the employer and workforce challenges that resulted from COVID-19.
Olivia.
Hi, everybody. I'm Olivia with the Rhode Island Department of Labor Real Jobs Rhode Island program and DLT. Earlier this summer, we partnered with JobCase, one of the country's largest career service platforms to create an exclusive job seeker platform for individuals. So there's over 43,000 individuals who are seeking employment. And this is just another area for individuals who were hit hard by COVID to explore opportunities in Rhode Island. This is exclusive for job seekers here in Rhode Island. It's similar to LinkedIn. So you can go on there and post your jobs as another resource or tool for individuals who are helping for you as an employer in Rhode Island to find individuals who are seeking work. So here's an example. Cargill down in Quonset is actually a new employer here in Rhode Island. They'll be hiring over 250 individuals by the end of the year. So they have posted their position on JobKeys, and they are connecting now with individuals who are looking for production machine operators and knife workers, and the benefits that they posted their benefits, the positions that are available, and now they are sourcing individuals through JobKeys. This is just another platform, as I mentioned earlier. You can also post your positions in other platforms throughout Rhode Island. But again, this is just another tool.
So we have, oh wait, no, sorry, is it me? Yeah.
No, I'm all set.
So a little bit about, we have partnered with Skilled for Rhode Island's future for recruitment and placement with real jobs programs and the Back to Work program. Whereas Skills for Rhode Island's future works with a lot of different sectors. Right now we're talking specifically about the Back to Work program in partnership with Rhode Island manufacturers. So Skills for Rhode Island Future takes unemployed and underemployed people that have been recently displaced as a result of COVID, and partners with the sector partners like Polaris MEP to create pipelines, whether that's through new hire training or through recruitment for companies that are hiring for many people, hiring for ones and twos, with a talent exchange that looked like identifying companies that were either closing or had to displace people as a result of COVID, and then matching those skills very specifically with companies that needed to hire during COVID. And this goes beyond that as well, COVID as well. Some of our current training partnerships, keep going. Some of our current training partnerships are with the new hire training programs, such as We Make Rhode Island, Fast Track to CNC, the welding programs. This is the SAMI at New England Tech, machining and welding programs for new hire training, marine trades and composite training. We have the Skills for Rhode Island Future helps recruit for those training programs, and those programs are supposed to be creating a skilled labor force for Rhode Island manufacturers and in the marine trades as well. Olivia, do you want to go into work immersion?
Sure. So Work Immersion is a program through the Governor's Workforce Board. Currently it is on hiatus, and I'm sure Anthony Bernier, who's on this call from Impact Tool Supply, is probably taking a deep sigh of frustration that it is still on hiatus. He takes advantage of this program in the past. But the date to be determined for when it will come back online, we are still discussing that internally. But when it does, it is a program that individual employers in Rhode Island can take advantage of if you are registered with the Secretary of State's office, and also if you are currently also registered with the Ocean State Procurement System. It's a great way for employers or companies in Rhode Island who are offering temporary paid work experiences. I also like to call it kind of like a try before you buy program. We offer it for employers who are offering those types of paid work experiences to Rhode Island college students, individuals who are in career and technical education programs, or unemployed adults. And it's a reimbursement to employers from anywhere to 35% up to 50% for a period of time. Now previously, and I can't speak to how when it comes back online, but previously it was a reimbursement to up to 400 hours for those individuals. It's a great program, and we hope that it will come back online soon.
In the absence of that program, I am very excited to announce a new program for new hires and new hire training called Machine and Marine. This was recently developed and approved by the Back to Work program. We've worked very closely with Shasterine and Olivia at Polaris and with our industry partnerships to develop this. This is a program to de-risk hires and get new hires ready for in-demand jobs that are available right now, even if there's not necessarily a fully trained pipeline of employees for those vacancies. This is for machine, you'll see the name machine and marine. This is a partnership between the marine sector partnership, so like Rhode Island and Composites, the Marine Trades Association, and Polaris MEP, and the manufacturing sector partnership with Real Jobs. So this program offers wage reimbursements at a minimum of $15 an hour. So if you're hiring someone new, a new hire for a production position, and they are making at least $15 an hour, they are eligible now for this program. The program expires in the end of the year. So December 30th currently is the expiration date for this program, but you can get reimbursed for those new hires for up to 8 weeks of wages. So that caps out at $4,800. And while you're onboarding, while you have these new hires in training, you are eligible for up to $4,000 per hire in training funds. So no matter what training you're doing, whether that's with a external training where you're bringing somebody in to do, or sending a new hire, I'm going to use the example of a CNC position. If you hired someone that's a CNC operator that might need some SolidWorks or CAM training, you can send them externally and have this program.
Looks like Lindsey froze.
Looks like Lizzie's having a little bit of a freezer on that, but she was saying that if you have somebody who's available for this program, we want to make sure that we get them into the pipeline as quickly as possible. So you'll see that there is a link at the bottom of the screen, and we hope folks will take advantage of that and learn more about it. We're very happy, as Lindsey said, to be partnering with both RIMTA and the Real Jobs team to make this possibility for manufacturers in Rhode Island. Excellent. So we're going to go ahead and see if Lindsey's items shake out right here. And if they don't worry about it, because we'll be able to pull it up on my exciting computer and keep it going. Polaris MEP actually does a regular survey of manufacturing CEOs. And we do this because we want to make sure that we're really understanding what today's challenges are, and importantly, what programs could help you guys address those needs. So we've done a few of these during the pandemic, and during the last survey, actually, we had 1/2 of all CEOs say that what they thought would be the key to moving forward and a faster rebound would be actually workforce, which is probably not a surprise to anybody who's on this call here. So 60% of the same manufacturing leaders who had said workforce was a big key to it said that if state funding were to become available, how they would want to use it is for, some of it at least, for training that workforce. And so state funding is available. And in this next section, Lindsey is rejoining us, and she'll get to show us just how.
So I'll start with this. So the Incumbent Worker Training Grant is one of those resources that the Governor's Workforce Board offers to employers for training. It's actually this program we also take offline for the summer months, and due to COVID, it's actually continuing to stay on hiatus for a little longer than we expected, like the Work Immersion program. We anticipate it to come back online, to dates still to be determined. It is a grant that we offer to employers in Rhode Island who are paying into the Job Development Fund and are also registered with the Secretary of State's office. And it's a grant to increase skills or it's a grant to increase the skills or productivity of your current workforce. If you're a manufacturer in Rhode Island, though, we would like you to speak to someone at Polaris, that way we can see if we can identify a training program or something through Polaris that might be able to pivot the resources through their incumbent worker training before we actually have you apply for this grant. So I'm going to toss it to Lindsey for her to discuss that.
So yes, we do have a a pot of incumbent worker training funds that was already allocated to Polaris MEP to work with our manufacturing partners, either new or existing companies in Rhode Island that have incumbent worker training needs. So even though that program is on hiatus, you can still reach out to us if you have incumbent worker training needs. In addition to our general incumbent worker funds, there is specifically a pot of funds for COVID-related incumbent worker PPE training or COVID-related training, including facility layout that is in response to a challenge related to COVID. So we have, what that means is we have consultants that will do facility layout, and those can be funded if you need to space out your employees, your workstations for social distancing, if you have issues regarding ventilation systems and machinery that have to be moved around. We have consultants in-house that will come. If you have somebody else you want to use outside of Polaris, that is also fine. We're not requiring that you use our project managers in any of our programs. The PPA training, the PPE, the personal protective equipment training, is fully funded. So if you have training needs, whether that's for incumbent workers, or of course, if you've recently brought on new employees and you need them trained in PPE, we have a safety coach, Sherry Marzilli, that is working with us as a third-party contractor to go in and customize the training for Rhode Island manufacturers. So if you have questions about any of those, you can access them at the link that will be on the bottom and will be available after the presentation. All of this is on the Go Polaris site, on the Wahoo app. Yes, that's all we have for that one. So we have, are we on the next, Erin, are you still moving us along?
Yep, this is the second one that's about the COVID response plans. That's
sorry.
okay. It's hard when you're not running your own slides, Lindsay.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate
Bad
the
driver.
support. So this is the training program to upskill incumbent workers. It's also a way to build out your new hire pipeline. So we're talking here about, so this is, I'm just going to move this over a little bit. This is a little bit.
Do you want me to advance to the next one?
Yeah, can you? This is.
Absolutely. So this was about the kind of improving the response plans, but this is where I know that you're excited about what we can do with bringing folks in on a faster track.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I thought this was where we are in that phase. So we have the new hire program pipelines that I was mentioning earlier, such as We Make Rhode Island. This is the fast track, the SAMI program for welding and machining, as well as a handful of other programs. This specifically is fast track to CNC. This program has been in existence since the start of the Real Jobs partnership with Polaris MEP. It was designed in response to a stated employer need for a pipeline of CNC operators and machinists. This program has gotten consistently better every year, and it's a two-phase boot camp that provides first a 20-week program that is fully funded. Participants get college credits for completing it. They get to the CNC operator phase after this 20-week program. The reason it's 20 weeks is because almost half the time they spend job shadowing at employer partners to get that on-the-job experience that our partners have told us is so important. Then they're available and wanting to go to work after this program ends. And then there's a second phase of the program that is also funded that allows them to get to that CNC machinist level. So they can go take classes in the machine shop at CCRI off shift hours. So they could do it during second shift, or if they're not available, then they can do it first shift if they're working second shift. Again, totally customizable. And you know, they're not coming out as CNC machinists with 5 years of experience, and that is important to remember that. But we are creating a pipeline in Rhode Island for so that there will be more people, you know, in a year from now, in 2 years from now, and those people are all getting more experience. They're starting into these career tracks at an earlier part in their career. So they're getting those competencies that people need to move forward with the CNC manufacturing. If you're interested in getting involved in those, definitely reach out to us. You can click the link when we share this as well. So other training solutions, the Phoenix Partnership is a lean program, lean manufacturing, and it's a fully funded lean manufacturing that also kind of tries to break down some of the barriers to participation in training that have come up. A lot of the employer partners that sat down to create this program with Polaris were mindful that their employees were going to be driving on their own time. We're worried about how much time out of the operation they would be spending. So this program does reimburse partial 50% of wage hours for trainees. This program, like the Fast Track to CNC program, has been around for about 4 years, has gotten really great employer feedback. If you are interested in learning more about it, I'd be happy to speak to any of you about it. So we also are in our, okay, so this brings us to our last group, which is workforce resources that can help you with anything else that could come up your way. Olivia, can you start us off with the program that has become important during COVID?
Sure. So the Department of Labor and Training is key to make sure that we do business retention and then ultimately layoff aversion. And this program, WorkShare, is key to the layoff aversion. So in order to take advantage of it, it's actually an online application, and you can click the link at the very bottom to get to the online application. Some key points to it: the employer must be registered in Rhode Island, and you have to have the UI benefit charges against your account in the past in order to be eligible for the WorkShare program. You need to have at least 2 permanent employees from a specific unit. And when I say a unit, I'm talking about like shipping and receiving, or your front office staff would be considered a unit that could be taken advantage of. They both have to be from the same unit. You have to be current on your unemployment taxes or on a payment contract with our office or with the unemployment office in order to take advantage. You have to continue providing your employee benefits to the individuals who would be on WorkShare. So examples would be your health insurance, vacation leave, and etc. If the employee benefits are reduced, the reduction must apply equally to all employees within that unit. And you reduce your participating employees' hours by 10 to 50%. And then you designate a company liaison to work with the Labor and Training Office to work on your payroll and whatnot going forward. The nice part about this is that previously you keep your skilled employees during a reduction in work. So if you were to lose a contract or whatnot, the individuals would go on WorkShare for a time. So like say this week you have a reduction in work, next week you have an uptick in work, so they could go off unemployment. The week that you have time for them to do work, and then the weeks that you don't have work, they would go on unemployment, and they can come on and off unemployment for the reduction in work up to 52 weeks. For the participating employees that would go on this program, they have to be permanent employees to the company. We do not allow temporary workers. They have to be eligible for regular unemployment benefits, and they have to be able and available to work all the hours that you're offering them. And so if you want more information, you can go to the link below. You can fill out the application, and someone from our WorkShare unit will reach out to you with more information to go through the application. It's a really great program. A lot of employers do take advantage of it during a slow time. And then ultimately, if we can't help you with WorkShare, then we would come in with rapid response services.
So one other resiliency solution that not everyone always thinks about is leadership training, especially for emerging leaders. We are looking at customized leadership training for emerging new leaders, mentoring and on-the-job training. There's a leadership partnership of Rhode Island is one of the leadership solutions that is available for no cost to Rhode Island manufacturers. It started out as a group of manufacturers, just like many of our programs start. This one, Astronova, Banneker, Supply Chain Solutions, Hexagon, Dominion, Takeo, and Torre are all still very much involved in the program as well. And there are 3 different levels of leadership training that are available through this one. It is an emerging leaders program, a leading with competency and character, and a mentorship program for more experienced leaders to pair with that level one, that emerging leaders, and try to steward them through the program. They are always looking for new companies to join the advisory board. I say they, we. This is another one that is in partnership with Polaris. So if you have any interest in, helping or understanding what's available, who should be sent to this program, what characteristics you're looking for in young or mid-level managers, feel free to reach out about this training as well.
So the wonderful world of unemployment.
Yeah.
So I want to preempt that I am not from the unemployment insurance office, but my prior days when I did rapid response and I was the coordinator for that program, I did touch on unemployment. So I'm happy to just offer to you and anybody who's on this call that we have been hearing from a lot of employers that had work and they were recalling back their employees to those positions, and those individuals who are refusing to return to work. At the link at the very below of this page, if you are requesting employees to return to their positions and they're refusing that work, and those individuals are currently collecting unemployment, we would ask you to please go on that link at the below page. And you can also Google this by going on online and typing in Rhode Island DLT unemployment, and you'll see employer protest page, and you can protest their wages basically and send us a form, and we would like to look into that. We would like to hear from you if you are actually recalling back your employees and they are refusing to return to work. You can protest their benefits, and then someone from the unemployment division will look into that further. If you have any other questions about unemployment, there's also a link on our DLT webpage for employers to send in a request for someone from the unemployment division to reach out to you directly. But we are hearing from employers that is a challenge right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Olivia. And thank you, everybody. I'll tell you what, I am going to go ahead and stop showing this beautiful screen and instead have us see our presenters so I can toss a couple of the questions that have been coming my way at you guys. So, all right. So thank you guys very much. That was an excellent overview and so many different programs. It's really extraordinary. I don't know, from my perspective, being newer to this industry, to see how closely you guys work. Polaris MEP, RIMTA, We Make Rhode Island. I see Barb Jackson's one of our participants today, and obviously Real Jobs to make these things happen. So I guess that means that, you guys have a lot of knowledge into a lot of different programs all across there. One specific question for Shasterine, you had mentioned the funding process that there was for Real Jobs Rhode Island. And the question was, who can submit a pitch for funds from Real Jobs Rhode Island?
That's a good question. So the organizations who can submit a pitch are our official formal partnerships of Real Jobs Rhode Island, which are often industry associations or nonprofit organizations. So these nonprofits and industry associations are actively working with employers to craft up these pitches, but our formal partnerships, our Real Jobs partnerships, are the only entities that can submit a pitch proposal.
Excellent. All right, so question for Olivia. Olivia, you mentioned the new Rhode Island job case, or I guess it's job case Rhode Island board. Question is, do I have to post jobs in both Skills for Rhode Island and jobs case?
The answer to that is you don't have to, but we would encourage you to post in both places. Yes, they are two separate entities. So yes, you should post on Skills for, well, you don't actually post in Skills for Rhode Island. You send in a request on the job board, which you can go on to employeri.org. There's a spot on the bottom of employeri.org for you to submit your job order to there. It goes right to Skills RI, and they will post the job order for you on their platform. Job case is separate, so they're two separate engines. So you're actually getting a bunch of different places for you to get your word out to all of Rhode Island. Small state, lots of different tools for you as an employer in Rhode Island.
Excellent. There are a lot of different tools for a tiny little state. Lindsey, this question is for you, and I guess it's a part of the hiring practice people don't really talk about, which is that, do you have any tips for manufacturers who are now having to hire virtually?
That's a good question. I think a big requirement of most jobs is having some computer savvy right now. So making your interview process accessible to Zoom, being able to use, whether you use Zoom or Teams or anything like that. You Part of the screening process in interview processes is understanding that people are going to show up on time, and usually that involves one or more appointment. So creating some hoops to jump through for employees to see if they are work ready, reliable. Through our recruitment pipelines, we try to do that. So when we set up interviews with people, we are checking to see if they are prepared, will show up on time. Even if there's technological problems, which we know we can all face from time to time, having a couple screening processes along the way for those virtual interviews before you get an in-person, and making sure that when you're doing in-person hiring, that the expectations for what your protocols for safety in your own facility are really important. Letting people know they should be showing up wearing a mask, that they have to do an assessment for COVID when they show up, and making sure that you are aware of what you're doing in-house to make sure other trained, really highly qualified potential employees will feel comfortable when they're coming into your facility. So you want to think of it from both the hiring company as well as the potential candidate.
Excellent advice, Lindsey. Thank you. Olivia, I'm going to actually ask you the same question, but from a slightly different perspective. Do you have any tips for companies who are trying to recruit based on your experience?
So the Department of Labor definitely has a lot of experience assisting companies with recruiting. Now, post-COVID, we have moved and hearing from a lot of companies that they are moving to a more virtual platform for recruiting. Just recently, I heard of companies are partnering with a lot of community-based organizations and doing drive-through job interviews where the individuals are showing up to our community-based organizations doing interviews in the car, being offered positions in the car. So it's a more safe environment for the individuals to get their interviews. So if an employer would like to contact the Department of Labor and Training to talk about some of the resources that we are doing to pivot to more safe environments for virtual recruitments, you can email the Department of Labor at dlt.esu@dlt.ri.gov. We'll be more than happy to assist you with your recruiting needs and kind of talk about those different approaches.
That is excellent. That's a really fun way to approach it. And I want to thank Bart Jackson, who just shared with me that We Make Rhode Island also hosts virtual job processes for employers. So yet another resource that can be tapped into by our manufacturers. So I'm cognizant of the time, so we have really just one last question, and I'm going to toss it to Shasterine. Shasterine, the question is Back to Work Rhode Island only for coronavirus? Will it go away?
Sorry, Erin, I didn't hear that last part.
They're asking, is Back to Work Rhode Island only for coronavirus? Will it go away?
So at the moment, it looks like the initiative will go on until the end of the year because the funding that is attached to this initiative expires at the end of the year. However, that is also to be determined, but at the moment, at the end of the year, December 30th to be exact.
Excellent. I lied, there was one last question, and it was, how do we get the PDF of this deck? Thank you very much for asking that. We are going to make the PDF available in two ways. Number one, we'll put a copy of the PDF into our quote unquote virtual trade booth. That's part of this, I have no idea how to pronounce it either, Lindsey, Woovia, something system, the wonderful RIMA conference system they're using. And in addition, you can always ask any one of our fabulous presenters or myself for a copy of the deck, and we would be thrilled to send you the PDF and help you navigate employer services. Thank you,
Erin,
Olivia.
can I add one thing? If I'm not sure how much of the machine and marine side got through. I am also hosting a employer meeting tomorrow. So if you are interested in learning more about the machine and marine new hire program, you can put it in the chat that you're interested in attending the discussion tomorrow, and I will happily include you there.
Oh, great offer. Thank you very much.
And So I'd like to say thank you to Erin, our very capable host, especially for picking up the slack when I dropped off, and to Shasterine and Olivia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the conference, everybody.